The movie starts with Linda diligently working on company projections and reports in her office, showcasing her expertise and dedication despite feeling undervalued by her superiors. As she prepares for an important meeting where her work will be presented without her presence, the narrative hints at corporate politics and personal ambitions, setting the stage for a story of ambition, missed opportunities, and the pursuit of recognition within a competitive business environment. Bradley Preston introduces himself as the new president to his team, including Marshall from IT and Sierra from marketing, while acknowledging Linda Little's loyalty despite her outdated footwear. Barbara holds Preston's calls as he discusses his father's promise of a promotion for Linda with an unnamed colleague, who reveals that Donovan will receive the position instead due to Preston's disregard for his father's wishes and Linda's anticipation of the promotion. In a satellite office far from headquarters, colleagues discuss upcoming projects and personnel changes, including the promotion of one employee to vice president despite another's longer tenure. The conversation shifts when Linda barges into Mr. Preston's office, expressing dissatisfaction over not receiving a recent promotion. Mr. Preston acknowledges her numerical skills, but advises that she lacks the interpersonal qualities needed for an executive role, leaving Linda visibly frustrated yet impressed by his frankness. A business meeting begins with discussions about an upcoming Bangkok merger and outstanding issues. With Appendix D, the conversation shifts when a woman, presumably Linda, is reprimanded for bringing tuna fish to her desk, disrupting the workplace environment. Later, a man introduces his fiancée Zuri to Linda before addressing complaints made against her. As the scene progresses, Mr. Preston mentions potential solutions to their problems with Appendix D, and the group prepares to depart for Siam Country Golf Club, where they are shown an impressive golf hole setup. A confident and outdoorsy individual expresses their love for reading and bushcraft skills, boasting about making fire in 3 different ways. The scene shifts to a group discussion where someone introduces a vice president with the phrase outwit, outplay, outlast. The scene then shifts to a tense moment. A group of people on an airplane experience an accident, someone falls from their seat and the others try to help. Bradley, Linda, and others work together to rescue the fallen person, creating a chaotic and urgent scene. A person greets another with urgency and disbelief, questioning if it was indeed them who had to be there. The conversation turns tense as they express frustration before calming down to inquire about others' presence. One asks specifically for Dono, showing concern over the duration of their unconsciousness. After being concerned about someone's well-being earlier, one individual now encourages another to eat for strength, offering sustenance despite initial reluctance. The group then discovers a conch shell, which is identified as a type of sea snail that will be prepared for food. Discussions turn towards their rescue, with the suggestion of creating a distress signal to aid in being located amidst the numerous islands in the Gulf of Thailand where they have drifted. One survivor expresses frustration with another for not signaling for help properly, suggesting smoke signals or using plane debris instead of focusing solely on basic survival needs like food and water. The second survivor defends their actions, arguing that keeping the group alive was a priority over signaling for rescue. Tensions rise when one survivor attempts to assist the other, but is met with resistance and hostility, leading to an argument about roles and respect within the group. The group finds themselves outside of their usual office environment, with Bradley reassuring someone that he was worried they wouldn't return. Tracks are discovered, leading them to believe a boar was nearby, and there's concern about the possibility of surviving for several more days until rescue arrives. One person suggests hunting the boar as a source of food, while another sarcastically comments on Linda from accounting being in charge of strategy and planning, hinting at past professional tensions. One character expresses delight over some meat, calling it the best they've ever tasted. Another person, who had been sitting quietly, is reminded of their own contribution by bringing home food, prompting a playful exchange about who's the bacon now. The group welcomes back someone who has been exploring and found a new water source, praising them for their initiative and offering to share an iced frap made from cleaner water. The conversation turns to concerns about how they've managed to avoid being discovered by others after 2 weeks of hiding. One survivor insists that building a raft is crucial for their survival, citing a 60 Minutes episode about a shipwreck survivor who emphasized saving food and water and staying visible to passing ships. However, another survivor vehemently disagrees, arguing that they should stay put and maintain their current situation. The disagreement escalates when one of them, clearly frustrated, decides to leave the group and set up camp elsewhere on the island, gathering materials for a new shelter near the coconut trees. In the morning, a man greets another person named Linda at his office, recognizing her from a previous Christmas party. He notices something unusual in her appearance and compliments her on how much she has changed since their last meeting. The conversation turns to an apology for past behavior, with the man assuring Linda that she is not fired and even suggesting that he would like to have her back at work if possible. Linda expresses her willingness to learn from him again, leading to a discussion about mutual support and growth in their professional relationship. A team discusses their successful collaboration, praising each other's intelligence and teamwork. One member, Linda, is approached by another who expresses interest in joining her for lunch despite acknowledging his numerous character flaws. The conversation turns casual as they share food and drinks, with one person jokingly addressing the other as Mr. Bossipants. Later, Linda suggests taking a walk to continue rehabilitating an injured leg, leading them to a challenging but rewarding spot where they exchange light-hearted banter about foraging tips. The group discusses survival tips and warns against venturing into dangerous areas of the island covered in thorny bushes and poison vines. After a tense moment where one member nearly falls, they find green bananas and decide to speed up their ripening process using heat. Later, another survivor reveals they have been making pruno, an alcoholic beverage made from fermented fruit, to get drunk. The conversation turns personal as they share stories of past relationships, with one admitting to a failed marriage due to a deceased spouse who was not loving. The narrator recounts the story of someone who was raised solely by their mother, an emotionally and physically abusive figure whose own upbringing had been marred by her father's cruelty. This person acknowledges the concept that monsters are created rather than born, admitting to being a monster themselves due to circumstances beyond their control. They share the tragic tale of their husband's death from a car accident caused by alcoholism, revealing how they once hid his keys but ultimately gave in during an argument, allowing him to drive drunk on what would be his last night alive. The survivors rush to escape a fire on the beach, urging each other to stay safe and move quickly into sheltered areas where they can wait out the danger. Once inside, they share body warmth to combat the cold and discuss rebuilding efforts, with one survivor offering help in constructing a new camp on higher ground. Later, another survivor decides to venture to a high ridge for exploration, but invites company, accepting an offer from someone who wants to thank them for their support during tough times. The conversation between two characters begins with one offering to cook dinner for the other as a way to thank them for their time together, expressing that they want to ensure the host gets a break from cooking. During the fancy dinner, which includes mango salsa and smoked barramundi, the guest expresses surprise at the host's culinary skills, since they usually order out or have chefs prepare meals for them and their fiancée, Zuri. The evening takes an unexpected turn when the guest starts to feel dizzy and becomes agitated, leading to a heated exchange before abruptly ending with a distressed reaction. One individual is trying to reassure another about an incident where they attempted to incapacitate them with berries, emphasizing that it wasn't intended as a lethal act. The conversation shifts to discussing the effects of neurotoxins from a blue-ringed octopus, which were used to subdue the person and render them immobile but not deadly. The speaker then commends the other's skill in building a raft while hinting at missed opportunities for further instruction, before sharing a personal anecdote about a disobedient childhood dog to illustrate the importance of control and obedience. A character explains to another that a medical procedure they are about to undergo is simple and historically common among Egyptian slaves, aiming to make them more obedient. The speaker emphasizes the lack of help available and the need for acceptance of their current low status with an unsympathetic boss. Later, this same individual visits someone described as gloomy, offering to find fruits to cheer them up while hinting at past kindness that should not be mistaken for weakness. In a separate scene, Linda calls out in distress, but is relieved when another character identifies themselves and confirms the survival of a previously presumed lost person named Bradley. The group expresses their excitement and disbelief upon finding help, urgently requesting to be taken to someone named Bradley right away. They follow a guide through the wilderness who reassures them about returning to civilization soon, but encounters an unexpected obstacle when Zuri needs assistance crossing a difficult terrain. The guide helps Zuri safely navigate the area while the others wait anxiously, and later mentions plans for hunting fresh boar as their food supplies dwindle. The protagonist is taking a sick day, feeling overwhelmed and unable to handle things alone. They call out for Linda repeatedly, who is visibly distressed when confronted about an attempt on someone's life. The protagonist accuses Linda of being a murderer, but she denies it vehemently, insisting that she will tell Bradley everything if not stopped. A tense conversation unfolds as one person questions another about their whereabouts and health status. The dialogue becomes more intense when a serious accusation is made, suggesting that someone might have caused harm to another individual by accident or otherwise. Accusations fly, with one person vehemently denying any wrongdoing while the other remains unconvinced, leading to an explosive confrontation filled with anger and disbelief. The scene opens with frantic calls of "hey" from an unseen character, quickly escalating to a more aggressive tone as someone asks about knives. Bradley enters the conversation, jesting sarcastically about a knife washing up on shore before turning serious and asking where the other person is going. They then admire their surroundings, noting that the owner is a Wall Street billionaire whose security system was easily disabled after the caretakers left. Bradley confesses to having delayed rescue out of personal need for more time, revealing he broke into the place after the staff had departed. After a period of isolation and reflection, the narrator expresses deep regret for past actions towards others, acknowledging their behavior as monstrous and broken. They credit Linda with teaching them valuable lessons and saving them from their destructive path, expressing a sincere desire to rebuild their relationship based on mutual care and survival in their current environment. After enduring unimaginable hardships and emerging as a symbol of resilience, Linda Little's journey culminates in her candid interview at the 19th Annual Celebrity Golf Invitational, where she reveals the stark truth that no help is coming from outside, urging others to save themselves. Her powerful message resonates with the haunting reality of survival and self-reliance, and the movie ends on a dark note.